Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hello, you guys. Welcome to Redeemer Youth. We're so excited that you guys are here with us tonight. Baco, it is a special night tonight.
Why is it special, Brian?
It is a special night because you are here.
Oh,
and,
really?
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, no, that's not really what I thought.
Oh.
It is our Q&A night tonight.
Oh, I see.
These are.
I guess that's special.
These are some of the best nights of the entire year. We got some special guests who are going to be helping with the Q&A. So I'm excited for that. And, you know, as always, if you're connecting with us online, I want to encourage you guys to comment in the chat. So you guys can send your questions to us that way. And we just want to hear from you. You can engage with us, and we'd love, love, love for you to engage in the chats. And we'd love for you to also share tonight with a friend.
Post this on Facebook. Post this on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. What else?
On all of the socials.
On all the socials, yeah.
I'm too old for this kind of stuff. I don't know. But all I'd say, we would love for you to share this, share the message with your friends, to be part of this community and hear kind of what God is doing right here at Redeemer Youth. So I'm really excited about that. Our Q&A tonight also, as kind of a side note, you can also text in your questions tonight to the number 763-200-8225, okay? So one more time, it's 763-200-8225. You can text in your questions about God, faith, the Bible, life. We'd love to hear from you. And one of the things that, you know, I've been saying these last number of weeks, Baco, is that whether you believe in God or not, you should always have questions about God and spirituality and faith. And
it's kind of hard not to have questions.
Yeah.
Really?
Because there's a level of curiosity that to be a full high-level human being that like you need to have. And so we encourage just honest, real questions, and we're going to give you some honest, real answers about the questions that you have. So I'm super excited about it tonight, Baco. It's going to be a great night. I'm pumped. But before we jump into the Q&A, before we jump into the craziness of what the rest of the night's going to be with, we got to play a game, Baco.
What is this game, Brian?
We are going to play a Q&A edition of this game. We're going to have our
Q&A before the Q&A.
A pre-Q&A, a Q&A that's going to be a little bit of fun. We're going to play a little bit of one-word answers, okay? One-word answers. There we go. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, Baco. We'll ask questions. We'll give one-word answers.
Hopefully it makes sense.
Hopefully they'll make sense. Also, send us your one-word answers, okay? We want to know what your answers would be in one word. So let's hear it. Baco, I'm going to start you off here with a very easy one, non-threatening. How old are you?
I am 24.
24.
24.
24.
Yes.
Not non-threatening. Although I will say, 24, is that two words or is that hyphenated and then it's one word?
It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. Baco is absolutely
I think you
correct.
just write a number and we're just good.
As long as it's written in number form, it's one word.
Exactly.
I like that logic, Baco. I'll take it. I'll take the answer. Okay, ready for some real deep ones now?
Yeah.
One-word answers only. One-word answers only. Where's your cell phone?
It's in. Oh.
Too many words. It's in. So that's what you get. Would you? I'll answer mine.
Okay.
Pocket.
Yeah.
That
makes
better?
sense.
Okay, but for you at home, where's your phone? You might be looking at it right now, watching us. So, one-word answers, Baco. Keep it to that one word. We got this.
I completely forgot.
It's way harder than you think it would be, right? Okay, next one. What was your last nightmare?
Apocalypse?
I'm gonna hyphenate this one. No, I'll just do one word. School.
School?
Just school.
Okay.
That was mine. What was your last nightmare? Your last nightmare. Maybe it was last night. Maybe it was a week ago. Side note, I always remember my nightmares. I rarely ever remember like any good dreams. Why is that? I don't know like brain stuff enough to know that. But
I don't know. I feel like my dreams turn into nightmares. Maybe.
Everything's going great, and then the couch comes to life and destroys you.
I've had multiple zombie nightmares throughout my life.
Oh my gosh. Okay, one word that best describes you.
Great.
Great. Did you just say great?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Okay, one word that best describes you. I want to hear.
Brian?
My one word is hope.
Hope?
Hope.
Okay.
Hope is my word. My one word. Okay. Next one. What is your favorite show right now? Favorite show right now. One word.
One word.
Only one word.
World.
Okay, I'm so curious about what that is now.
It's actually 2 words, but
World.
I can only say one word of it.
World.
World.
I'm gonna go, and I hate to do it, but I just finished it. Wanda.
It's already done?
That was the last episode.
Oh,
Last
really?
episode on Friday.
Oh.
That's what it was. All right, next one. Your dream vacation.
Bahamas?
Bahamas. I'm gonna just go with. Wait a minute. Scuba.
Scuba.
That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say scuba. Scuba diving. Okay. Muffins.
Yes. Muffins?
Chocolate chip.
That was 2 words. One word answers, Nate. That's all right. That's all right. We botched it. Nate, we're all botching this. Muffins.
Yes.
Sugary.
Sugary. Okay.
I feel like the expression that you give with the word is also important. Like, if I was like sugary versus like sugary, you know what I mean? How you say the one word matters. All right. When is the last time you cried?
Long time.
Again, Baco,
Is that,
that's
no,
2.
that's one
long,
word.
Long time.
Long time.
A long time ago.
Long.
In a
I
galaxy
don't know.
far away. Wednesday.
Wednesday.
It's a long flight home. I had a lot of things going on. I cried on Wednesday. I did.
Wednesday. Okay.
Wednesday. All right. One word that you say all the time. Mine is the word awesome. I say awesome all the time. I don't know why. No, that's awesome.
Fantastic? Oh.
Fantastic. It's like the expression word, right? Like, oh, that's a cool thing. That's a good thing. That's fantastic. That's awesome. That's neat. That's
Usually how I say it's like, oh, how fantastic. As in like a sarcastic.
the sarcastic
underlying
fantastic.
tone. Yeah.
The sarcasm word. Okay. Favorite color?
Teal.
Black. Black.
Okay.
One word. I have 2, but it's just one word. So that's biggest pet peeve. What is your biggest pet peeve? This is a big one.
Suspense?
One word. Suspense is your biggest pet peeve.
Yeah. Like, hurry up and let's get over with. Suspense.
Drivers.
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 Minnesota.
Okay,
drivers.
this is probably my favorite one-word answer. This is gonna be the last one. Explain science.
Explain science.
Explain science.
Steps.
Discovery. I don't know. That's what I got. That's what I got.
mean, well, it's not really. It's already there, so you can't
But you're
really
discovering.
discover.
Okay.
You can't really.
We're discovering steps to the discovery of the next steps.
Yeah, sure.
This ain't working. These one words are the worst. Okay. Well, Baco, that's going to be the end of one words. Let's cut back to this screen. Hey, we got Q&A tonight. It's going to be incredible. Make sure to text in your questions, comment with your questions. It's going to be a wildly fun night. No question is off limits. Let's have a good night tonight, Baco.
Oh yeah.
We'll see you in just a couple seconds.
Welcome to Redeemer Youth. My name is Nate, and
I'm Mackenzie.
this is Mackenzie. We are going to be your MCs for Q&A night tonight.
Are we?
Yes, we are. Jeez. But anyway, we have a game today. And you know what our game is today, Mackenzie?
Kind of.
Kind of. It's called Psalm or Bieber. So what's going to happen is some words are going to appear on the screen. And we have to guess, all of us have to guess whether it's a psalm or it's Justin Bieber lyrics.
So it's a group game.
So it's a group game.
Yeah.
All right. And how that's going to work is we will take, not a raffle, what's the word? I can't, the word is just gone.
Vote?
Vote, yeah, we're gonna take a vote. Wow.
A raffle?
But anyway, we're gonna take a vote. And then whatever the vote wins is what we're gonna guess. Okay? All right.
Always Bieber.
What is our first phrase? Your name echoes around the world. So, hands up and online, if you guys want to put it in the chat, we'd love to hear what your guess is as well. Hands up for Psalm. Wow. Okay. Hands up for Bieber.
Yes. Oh.
All right, we're going to go with it's a psalm. It's a psalm. What is the answer?
Cody says both.
It's a psalm. All of you guys were right except for those that voted Bieber.
Except for those that weren't.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds
What's
good.
our
Okay.
next?
Nothing can ever replace you. I'd say.
Nothing can ever replace
Okay,
you.
who says Psalm?
Psalm. Hands for Psalm.
One. Okay.
Okay.
Bieber.
Not a lot of Psalm fans.
No.
All right. What about Bieber?
Yes.
Bieber is the clear winner.
I would agree with that.
All right. What is the answer? Crazy
Yeah.
Bieber fan. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Nothing would ever replace you.
From fans.
From
These are
fans, and it could be songs. It could be songs as well.
Or from the Bible.
All right. Next verse.
Why are you ignoring me? Where are you when I need you the most?
All right. Psalms. Anybody? Psalms?
I'm going to say
Okay. Put your hands down.
Bieber.
Bieber. I'm going to go with this is a Bieber. All right.
No, I think it's a psalm.
You think it's a psalm?
I
And I
think
think they
so.
think it's a psalm too.
Yeah,
So what's the answer?
Yeah.
Psalm 10. 10. Maybe.
Okay. So Bieber fans wrote the Bible. There are some.
I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong. Unless Justin Bieber is about
Jesus does
thousands
love
of
Bieber.
years old.
That's true.
All right. What's our next verse?
You made my life complete and put me back together.
Oh, all right. I have an idea. I'm going to go with Bieber personally. But what do you guys think? Psalm?
Psalm.
Bieber.
Psalm.
Bieber. Oh, they went Bieber again.
Well, of course they do. I mean,
All right. What is it? Psalm. All of you were wrong.
oh,
All right. What are we, like, halfway even? Like, we've got the same amount wrong as we have,
no,
right?
I think we've gotten more right.
We got more right?
Yeah.
Okay. What is our next verse?
You saved my life. You made me believe.
I'm gonna go with this is Bieber.
It has to be just.
This
it
has to be Bieber.
right? Okay. Who says Psalm?
Who says Psalm? Ashton says Psalm. Christian says Psalm.
Okay,
All
Bieber.
right. Bieber.
Yeah. Okay. Believer.
Believer. Are you a believer?
A believer.
What is it?
Believer.
Belieber.
Like Justin Bieber and Believe put together. It's like their ship name, like Believer. Yep. Okay.
All right. What is it? Bieber.
Yeah.
Bieber.
Yeah.
That's not what he looks like right now, though. That's not what he looks like right now. That's like 2012 Justin
Well, yeah,
Bieber.
but when do you think these were written?
What?
These were probably written in like 2012.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What's our next one?
My choice is you, first and only.
I'm guessing Bieber again.
Yeah.
Bieber.
Okay.
Bieber.
Who says Psalm?
Psalm. Anybody? All right, Bieber.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
pretty split, but I'm going to go, I think it was Bieber.
I think more people said Bieber.
Bieber. Is it Bieber? Psalm. Sam was right. And I bet you guys online were right. Psalm 16:5. Look it up. It is not a crazy Bieber fan or
I mean,
crazy
someone
Bieber lyrics.
might have written that about Justin Bieber at some point.
Maybe. Oh, definitely.
Probably.
Definitely. There's probably people in this room that have said that. All right. What's our next one?
I am right here, but you do not see me. Do you even notice me?
Oh, this is a psalm. This has got to be a psalm.
Yeah.
This sounds psalmish.
Yeah. Okay, who says psalm?
Psalm?
Yes.
Bieber. All right,
Oh.
like 3 people voted. Psalm,
Yes.
Bieber.
I feel like that was half an hour.
All right, what do you think? It comes
I-
down to us.
I think it's a psalm.
You think it's a psalm? So do I. All right, is it a psalm? Wow. Bieber.
I mean,
Bieber. All right,
I get it.
I could get it.
I get it.
I mean, when he's all the way up on stage and you're in the back row, he's not going to see you,
I mean,
even though you're right there.
you're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's our
disappointing.
next one?
You
You wrote-
rewrote the book of my life.
Has anybody said that here? Anybody? Anybody? All right.
I don't know. I
Psalm?
honestly don't know.
Psalm? Somebody psalm? Anybody
Cody's
psalm?
very confident.
Okay. Bieber.
Cody
Bieber.
knows this song.
Bieber. All right.
Okay, so why did only 3 of you vote?
Yeah. This is supposed to be a group game, guys. We're supposed to set a good example for our online audience. Thank you, online audience, for voting with us. But what do we think it is, Mackenzie?
I think it's a psalm.
You think it's a psalm?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go psalm.
Yeah.
Psalm 18:24.
Yes. Thank you, Cody.
Look it up. The author says you wrote the book of my life. Look it
Yep.
up. 18:25.
Yep. 24.
24. Excuse
It's
me.
okay. It's okay.
All right. What
Do we-
is our next one? Do we have
Do
a
we
next
have
one?
more?
You are perfect and beautiful for all. Aww.
I think it's Bieber.
I think I've said that about Justin Bieber. But anyway,
Okay.
what do we think? Psalm. Anybody?
No.
Psalm. Bieber. Oh, Bieber is the clear winner here.
Saying Beaver?
Is it Bieber?
Bieber.
It's not Justin Bieber?
Nope, that's not right.
Dang it, I've been lying to myself.
So-
Is it Bieber or Psalm? Bieber or Psalm?
And
Bieber
yes.
or Psalm? It's Bieber!
Yes.
All right. Do we have one more?
Are
One
there
more?
more?
We have more, yes!
His love for us is unbelievable.
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 Get it? I did it.
That was good.
That was good.
You got there.
See, I
That
got
was good.
there. I got there.
Okay.
All right. His love is unbelievable. That was better. I feel
Yeah.
like that was better. All right.
Okay.
Who thinks Psalm? All right.
Okay.
How about believable?
Justin Bieber.
Bieber. Psalm it is.
Psalm.
Bieber. That is unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
All right. Any more?
Are there more?
Of course we have more.
You are my everything, my purpose, my reason. Aww.
Somebody has a crush
I
on a
think it's a psalm.
psalmist. Anyway, what do we think? Psalm? Bieber.
Bieber.
I think Bieber wins that one. All right.
I think it was definitely Psalm.
Crazy Bieber fan. Wow. Somebody really has a crush on Justin.
Imagine having all these random people tweeting you stuff like this.
You kind of get full of yourself, I feel like. I don't know if I would want that many people to have a crush on me.
It's kind of scary.
It's kind of scary.
I don't like it.
Like, there's one that's actually crazy. All right. What is our next one?
There's more?
Oh, Oh, that was our
it.
last one. That was our last one. All right, thanks for playing, guys. Thanks for playing Psalm or Crazy Bieber Fan. I'm going to invite Brian up here, and he has some announcements for you guys.
Crazy Bieber fans. Oh, my goodness. All right. So the next time you think the Bible is boring, you can just go, Psalm or Crazy Bieber fan? I don't know. All right, so hey, today we've only got one headline before we jump into our Q&A, which I'm super, super excited about. But some of you are here for this. Some of you are maybe new and you don't know this yet. Hang tight, Sam. But I shared with you guys a couple of weeks ago that I am actually moving into a new position here at Redeemer and stepping out of the youth director position. And so it has been a ton of fun. It's been a huge honor to be able to be the youth director here for 12 plus years now. But I'm also really excited to share with you guys that starting on Sunday, March 28th, you are going to get a brand new youth director. And it's somebody that many of you maybe know. And it's also someone who's here to help with our Q&A tonight. So our Redeemer Youth next youth director is going to be Nathan Strecker. So Nathan Strecker, come on up.
Hey, Redeemer Youth, how are we doing tonight? Good to see you guys. Well, it's good to see so many familiar faces and some new faces I've never met before. For those of you who do not know me, as Brian said, my name is Nathan. I was raised here at Redeemer. Brian was my youth pastor, so that means I'm either really young or he's really old. Or both? So I love Redeemer. I used to go and lead camp, so I love camp. I love everything that's going on here. So it has been just an awesome God thing for me to be able to come back here and to take on this position. So I'm super excited to meet you guys who are new, reconnect with those of you who have met before, connect with everyone online, and yeah, we are going to be having a lot of fun moving forward. And I'd love to get your guys' feedback and ideas, because I haven't been here in a year. I don't know what's been going on, but here's been some good stuff. So if you don't know me, come and talk to me, get to know me. I'd love to meet you. And if you're like, hey, Nathan, I have a really cool idea for stuff I want to do in the future, let me know. Now, I can't do all of our crazy ideas, because I can't even do all my crazy ideas. But I'd love to hear your feedback, your input, because I want to make next year a year that you guys are excited for. So I'm really pumped to be working here, to be your new youth pastor, and yeah, we're gonna have a good time.
It's going to be awesome. So, you guys, I'm super excited. Nathan's going to take us to kind of new places, some new heights, so I'm pumped. One of the things I wanted to make sure that we could do together, though, is I would love for us as a community here to pray over Nathan as he gets ready to step into this new role. And so if you guys would, let's pray for Nathan, and then we'll explain what's happening next, okay? Let's do this. Heavenly Father, I want to just say thank you so much for the direction that you are taking Redeemer Youth. God, I thank you that Nathan is here to take the baton and run with us to the next steps, to the next places that you are taking this community right here at Redeemer Youth. So, Lord, would you continue to bless him? Would you give him great ideas? Would you give him inspiration? Would he hear your voice clearly? And God, would we as a community rally around Nathan? Would we rally around this ministry and what you are doing right here, Jesus? Because this doesn't happen because of Nathan. This happens because of what you are doing through him and through each and every other person here. So God, we ask for your blessing. We ask for your favor. Would you do some incredible things in these upcoming weeks and months? Jesus, in your name, amen. Amen. All right, you guys. So here's how this is going to look tonight, okay? From here, if you are in person here, middle schoolers, your Q&A is going to be down in the fellowship hall. So when I tell you, middle schoolers in the room here, you can go down there. High schoolers, you're going to stick around here for Q&A in this room. And if you are watching online, you are going to stick around for the Q&A happening right in here as well. So with that, middle schoolers, I'm going to set you guys loose, and we'll do a short little transition here. So middle schoolers, head down to the fellowship hall. High schoolers, hang tight for just a minute.
Yes.
Let's go.
I'm gonna get cozy.
Did I forget my water? I did. Hallie, come on up. Cody. I think he knows. He read my mind. All right, where's Hallie? There you are. Come on up. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sweet.
All right, so I'm gonna have Nathan's here to help answer some questions with us. And hey, let's give it up for Hallie, who's going to be our question host. So as you guys are Are you, and many of you know this already, but if you don't, you can still text in your questions all night long. And you can do that to the number 763-200-8225. Okay, so text in any of your questions.
Any question.
And what?
Any question. Any
questions. There's no question that's off limits, okay? Send in your questions. We've got a whole list of questions that have already been sent in. I love it. But we also want to hear from your questions right now in this room. So send in your questions. But I also, before we jump into this, I want to explain something that we explain before each of these Q&As. Because when, I am always encouraging you guys to ask questions. I think whether you are a follower of Jesus or not, you should have a curiosity about faith or about God or about spirituality, about religions. You should have a curiosity about those things, no matter what it is that you believe. We want you to be asking questions. But a lot of the times when it comes to the questions we have, they fall into different categories, okay? And so I've actually got an image to kind of help explain this for us. If you're in the room, you can see this. If you're watching online, I'll explain it, okay? In the middle here, right, so coming from a Christian perspective, in the middle are the things that I would say, these are things that all Christians everywhere would die for, okay? So if you're asking a question about like, well, do you really think Jesus is God? The answer from every Christian will always be yes. We absolutely believe that. Okay, so there's certain things that are like, these are things that every Christian will die for these things because this is so core to what it is that we believe. But outside from that, the next kind of level around are things that like Christians will defend, right? These are things like questions, people have questions about like, well, why do some Christians baptize babies but others don't, And it's like, okay, we can like have our conversations. The Bible talks about it a little bit, but there's a little bit of gray area, and so we can disagree, and it's totally fine. And then on the outside of that, are really just opinion type questions. These are things that we'll just discuss, all right? These are things that are fun to talk about, like, a question like, can God create a burrito so hot that even he couldn't eat it? Whoa. It's like, okay, that's a fun question to talk about. The Bible doesn't give us like a specific answer to that. You know what I mean? But like, they're just fun kind of discussion questions. And most of the questions that people ask fall into that outer ring area, okay? So as you guys ask your questions, we'll try to be clear of like, these are things that every Christian everywhere believe, and these are questions, other questions are the ones that, honestly, Nathan and I will probably disagree on, and that's totally okay too, and you can disagree with us. But we're here because we want to help give you some answers to the questions that you guys have. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hallie and say, lead us in our first questions. Are you guys ready for some Q&A? All right, let's do some Q&A.
I love Q&As. This is so
fun. Okay, on the theme of prayer from our series,
yes.
Is it bad to pray for good performance in a sport?
It's a good question.
Good question.
I think my gut instinct is no. I don't think it's bad to pray for a good performance. I think if this is something that you've been working hard on, something that you want to succeed in, I don't think that's a bad thing to ask for good performance. I think the difference is to ask to win versus to do your best. Because let's say you got two sports teams, both of them love Jesus, and they both pray, dear God, I want to win. Well, then God's like, oh no, how do I pick which one's going to win? And ultimately, most of the time, whoever wins a sports game, it's not going to have a huge impact on like people coming to know Christ or something. But you can ask God, I want to be safe. I want to give it all. I want to do my best. And I think those are admirable things because then that's God helping you grow. That's God helping you, worship him. And, you can worship God through athletics by giving him everything that you have. So I don't think it's bad to ask for God to help you do your best.
Yeah. I think the only two things I'd add to that are, one, don't use prayer as an excuse not to practice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like in a similar vein, like, is it bad to ask God to like help me do good on a test? And then like you use that as your excuse for like, nah, I didn't study. God's going to help me with it. Like that's not real life. Like that's not how this works. So don't use it as an excuse not to still put in the work. And then the second part that I would add to that too is, we over the last couple of weeks have been doing this series, Dangerous Prayers. And my encouragement to you and my challenge would be, pray for that all day long, that God would help you have a good performance. But don't stop there. Don't let that be the end of your prayer life, right? Keep praying for bigger, bolder, greater things. Things that God might actually use you to do some incredible things in the world, or might use other people around you to do some incredible things. So don't stop there, but absolutely pray for those things every game. Absolutely.
Good points.
Nailed it.
I agree.
All right. Is it normal to sometimes doubt God?
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Yes. Move on.
That's an easy one. Yeah.
No, to just add on to that, I mean, and Nathan, you probably relate too. I mean, even as somebody who works in a church, I go through seasons of doubting God. Like I do. I mean, there's times in my life, and I could even just give you some recent examples of like, I struggle with the idea of God sometimes, like a God that you can't see or touch or like hear audibly usually, or like how can you believe in that? And like that's like I have doubts as somebody who is a leader in a church. Okay, so if you are here and you have doubts about God, like that is okay. Like that is very okay. But in that, I would say don't stop there again, right? It's easy to have doubts and then just be like, okay, well then I guess not. When really, like what you should be doing is saying, okay, I have doubts. Let's dig deeper. Let's see if there is something more, if there's something that will help me with my doubts. And so for me, when I am struggling with doubt, when I have a group of people who I can go to and say, you guys, I'm really struggling with God right now. And they'll encourage me and pour into me. They'll remind me of things in my past that God has done for me. That it gives me hope. It gives me a reminder of where God has been in my life in the past, and helps me have hope for the future. So I'd say, yeah, don't absolutely have doubts. That's A-okay. Don't stop there.
Yeah, and I think to build off that too, I can agree. I definitely have doubts. A lot of the times, I'll be trying to plan something, or feel like God's calling me to go somewhere, and I'll have doubts about that. Like, is this really what God wants me to do? Is God even real? I think it's a normal question to ask. So don't beat yourself up if you ever have doubts. And in fact, having doubts can lead you to have stronger faith. It leads you to ask questions. I mean, that's why we have Q&A nights, because we like when you guys ask questions, because that means you're actually thinking about it. Versus someone who just would let's say, we're talking and they believe us and they don't actually think about it, that's not going to have a very strong faith. But if you hear what we're talking about and maybe you believe some of it and some of it you're like, I don't know, that doesn't sound right, and then you start reading the Bible yourself and start asking these questions, that's going to create a stronger faith than someone who just believes everything that they're told. So doubts, you don't want to stay there. You don't want to stay living in the doubts, but those can lead you to ask those questions and to dive deeper.
Yeah, and believing everything you're just told is a little bit cultish, so also challenge
we don't
that
like that.
too.
We don't like that
Let's
here.
challenge that a little bit too.
All right. Also on the theme of doubt a little bit, how do I know if the Lord is talking to me or if it's just some kind of voice in my head?
That's a great question. You want to start or should I start?
You start. You
I'll
set
start.
the groundwork.
I did start talking. I'll start. I think that's a question you always got to be asking. If you ever think you're hearing God's voice, you should always be like, okay, is this really God's voice? And we talked about this at New Year's retreat last year. 2
years ago,
yeah. 2 years ago. But you can test it. You can test to see whether it really is God. So we already have a whole book of God's voice, and that's the Bible. And so the first thing you want to do is what I'm hearing, does that line up with what I see God doing in the Bible? More specifically with what Jesus says and does. And if, Jesus says to love your enemy, and you're hearing a voice that says to go hate somebody, well, that's probably not God, because it doesn't line up. It's not the same. So if it passes that test, okay, it does sound like what the Bible would say. Next, you can also ask people that you trust, right? Your small group leader, you can ask us, or maybe someone else you know that you feel like might maybe know God's voice a little more than you do. He's like, hey, I'm hearing this. Can you pray about it? Can you see if God is telling you the same thing? And God's not going to tell two people different things. He's going to say the same thing. And so if you're hearing God tell you to go, to this one place, and they're telling you should be going to somewhere else, either one of you isn't hearing God correctly, or maybe both of you aren't hearing God correctly. But if you are both hearing the same thing, that's a great sign that it could be God. And this is one of those things that takes practice. The first time you hear God's voice, you're going to be like, is this just my own conscience? Is this a thought? But the more that you spend time with God and read the Bible and listen for Him, the easier it will be to recognize His voice, just like a friend, right? If you're calling someone on the phone and it's the first time that someone's calling you, you're not going to know who this is. But if it's your really good friend and you talk all the time, you're going to better be able to recognize whose voice it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that that's right on. I mean, I'd say, one of the things Nathan said that I just would want to reiterate is that it takes practice to know God's voice. And you might get it wrong, and that's okay. If the voice in your head is saying, like, do good, right? Bless someone, be generous. Like, okay, if that's not God's voice, you're still going to do good. Like, go do those things. You know what I mean? But that's going to be one of the best ways to do that, is to get practice. And God is a God of love, and He's a God of hope, and He's a God of building things to become new and redemption, right? Redeeming things that are broken and lost. And if the voices in your head are telling you to do that, you can be pretty confident that that's God's voice, and you can trust that.
Great. Should we do a video question?
Let's do it.
Ooh,
All right.
fancy.
So we got a video question. I'm excited for this. A friend of mine, I sent her a question. She's going to give us her answer. So let's watch.
Hey Redeemer, my name is Melinda Kern and I am the Director of Student Ministries at Community of Grace Lutheran Church, and I am so excited to be able to answer a question that some of you have been asking. And the question that I get to tackle tonight is, why does God answer some prayers but not others? And honestly, I think what we're actually asking is, why doesn't God say yes to all of our prayers? Because here's the thing, in all honesty, God does answer every single prayer. But sometimes his answer isn't yes. Sometimes God gives us a no, or a wait, or a maybe. And I think we sometimes struggle with those other answers when they're not a yes. But here's the thing that we need to realize, is that God loves us and is way wiser than us. And in all honesty, he knows what's best for us. And so sometimes that means saying to us, I'm going to give you a no response to this prayer because I know that's what's actually going to be better for you in the long run. Or I know that's what's going to really help you out. You may not see it right now, but God does. And so I want you to know that no matter what the answer is that God gives you in a prayer, and even if you have a really hard time with the answer that he's giving you in prayer, that his answer is always from a place of love. So we may not always get the result we'd hoped for, what we've been looking for in prayer, but I want you to know that in Hebrews 4:16 it tells us that God tells us to approach the throne of grace with boldness, and that we should be confident in our relationship with Jesus. Because honestly, at the heart of prayer is our relationship with Jesus. And really, he wants to know that we trust him and that we will trust whatever answer he gives us, whether it is that yes, no, or wait. And here's the thing that's awesome about prayer too, is that when we are having a hard time with the answer that God is giving us, is that doesn't mean that we should stop praying or that we should stop talking to him, but that we should come to him confidently, asking him to reveal to us why he's given us the answer that he has. And so I hope that helps you guys to understand a little bit more as to why God might answer prayers in a way that we don't expect. And sometimes it takes time. Honestly, I've seen it take years in some cases. But honestly, looking back, God's answer was always the best. And there have been moments in my own life where I wish I had trusted him sooner, because he really did know what I needed, and that his answer to my prayer had been from a place of love. So you guys, I hope that helps you. I hope that helps answer this question for you. And remember that God loves you and cares for you, and that's why he gives you the answer to your prayer that he does.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Awesome. I love, Melinda is amazing. She's a youth pastor friend of mine, and yeah, I trust her like crazy. She's incredible. But that was a really good answer. Yeah, sometimes it's frustrating how God answers your prayers, or doesn't answer your prayer the way you want to, but he's doing it from a place of love.
All right, this is a super serious texted in question. Brian, how old are you?
Ooh.
Super serious. I am 34. I'm 34. I'm an old man now.
Yikes.
I'm an old man.
You're older than Jesus, Scott. You beat Jesus' record.
Dude, I did. I mean, Jesus died before he was this age, so
So you win.
chalk one up for Brian.
Did Jesus live to 34? No.
Wow. Okay.
Did Jesus catch a Pikachu? No.
All right, moving on. Why is worship music slow and mellow or low key and not like rock or rap? Is there any problem with rock or rap that we don't use it as worship music? How did worship music get created and why do we use it?
Rock and
question.
rap. That's the devil's music.
That's a question.
No, I love that question. It's such a great question. To kind of break it in parts, why is it slow? I think probably the reason that most worship music that you hear on this stage or online is that slow music tends to get us more in the feels better, I think. And I think a lot of good worship music that I really enjoy gets me reflective and thinking about my life and what God has done. And you get emotional and you cry, and it's good stuff, and we like that. So I think that's why a lot of the songs tend to be slow, but it doesn't mean that they all are. There's a lot of worship songs that are upbeat and high tempo, and you're jumping and you're dancing, and you gotta move around. And so there is a huge range of worship song styles. And in fact, I have a whole playlist of worship music that is rap. It's all Christian rap songs. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with like that style of music of having, rap or rock, because you can use any style of music to praise God. It's all about the intention. It's all about the lyrics. It's all about the meaning behind the song. So there are slow, mellow songs that are like worship, but aren't worship songs. Justin Bieber songs. They could sound like a worship song if you replaced a couple names or a couple words in there. So it has nothing to do with the genre of music. It's all about the style. So if you connect more with rap music, come talk to me. I'll go recommend a couple really good Christian rap artists for you. I know there's some bands that are Christian that sound more like rock. I don't know many of them personally because that's just not my genre, but I know they exist. I'm sure there's some ones that sound like jazz or whatever genre you're into, yodeling. I don't know.
We're going to get some Christian yodeling going on around here. I'll tell you that right now.
Christian
Followed by some
yodeling
Christian polka.
next week. Christian polka. So, I would hate it.
Oh my gosh. If you do want to explore some different genres of like Christian music, though, check out our Spotify page, RedeemerMN_youth. We've got a bunch of different playlists. You can check out a bunch of different stuff. From a practical standpoint, though, why we tend to play the types of songs that we do is simply just the musicians that we have. To play rock music takes a very different type of musician usually than it does to do rap or to play a more the worship what we have here.
And it's easier to sing along too. Like if it was a rap song, not everyone would be able to sing along to that song. I could, but you guys, you wouldn't be able to.
Naturally.
But the slower songs, because they're slower, are easier to sing and sometimes easier to learn too because there's less lyrics. So it's easier to get stuck in your head.
So I'll also use this as a plug of saying, hey, if you are a gifted musician in a genre that you don't hear here, there's a place for you here, okay?
Yes.
That needs to happen. That's part of what the church is about. So come find us. We'd love to introduce more of that.
If you can yodel,
absolutely.
Let us know. Yeah.
Yes. If you got the good Mongolian throat singing, then we can.
Yo.
Okay, we've derailed this. Next question, please.
Is it okay to be Christian and be pro-choice?
It's a great question. Brian?
Oh, man, I have so many opinions about it. Let me start with one thing first.
Yeah, which category are we in?
When we say pro-choice and pro-life, usually we're using those words as a divisive way to talk about abortion. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I want to be clear about that first. When you say pro-life, pro-choice, by definition, those things don't exclude or include just abortion, okay? That's much more broad terms than those. So I want to say that first as kind of a baseline. So you can be pro-choice and say, no, abortion I think is still not okay, almost exclusively.
Right.
You can also be pro-life and vice versa say, but I do think abortion is okay in a circumstance. Okay, so let's just be clear about that. This is not a divisive one side or the other thing.
And two, with those three categories, this is not a die for category.
Gosh, no, absolutely
not
not.
at all.
No, this would be on those outer rings. Thank you for that, Nathan.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like anything, you can be a Christian and you can be whatever you want. I mean, there is the prerequisite to being a Christian is that you believe that Jesus is God and you surrender your life to him. Like, the end. That's it, right? So, yes, you can absolutely be a Christian, and these other things are all secondary. In that, too, I would also say that there's absolutely room for Christians who are pro-life and Christians who are pro-choice. Personally, I have very strong opinions about one way or the other, but those are my opinions, and they don't matter for what other people believe. Because I believe that God will take you on a journey that leads you closer to him, if that truly is where your heart is at. So that's my long way to say yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think when it comes down to really because this is a political opinion, I think when it comes down to any political topic, and I'm not going to even mention other ones because we don't have time, is as far as politics relates to Christianity, is they are different things. There is no Christian party. There's no Christian politics. And so if you have a political opinion, like pro-choice or pro-life, I think, like Brian said, we can disagree within the church about which one we should be doing. And I think that's important that we talk about that in a friendly way, not yelling at each other, not being mean, and that we use the Bible as our evidence. So if you can say, all right, here's my opinion, and here's how I see the Bible backing that up, or here I see a story or a verse that supports that, well, that's awesome. That's great. And I think you could do that for a lot of different opinions that are on different sides. And I think that's where it gets tough, is we both are like, well, I have this verse in the Bible that supports me. And they go, well, I have this verse that supports me. Well, which one's right? Some of them might be easier to say who's right. Some of them are going to be really tough. And I think what ends up happening is that the enemy that we face, he wants us to divide ourselves over things like this. He wants us to forget that we all agree on that one big thing, Jesus, and how we need to go share that with the world, right? So I think it's a good thing to talk about. It's an important thing to talk about. We should talk about it, so I'm glad you asked this question. But at the end of the day, if we disagree about it, it shouldn't be a thing that splits us and causes us not to be able to work together.
Absolutely. Yep. Jesus gives the command to love one another. At the end of the day, like, if you want to know what it means to follow Jesus, like in a practical sense, loving people, like that is the most practical as it gets. And so if your politics, if your opinions, if your standpoints on things keep you from loving people, you're as a follower of Jesus, your opinions are now wrong. Yeah. Does that make sense? No matter where you stand, right? Love is the goal. Love is the result of following Jesus. That's what that.
Yeah, so that's the short version for probably most of the complicated conversations that we could have on this couch. So,
is it loving?
Is it loving? That's my phrase.
That's Nathan's phrase.
It is. I coined it. No one else has ever said that.
All right, let's do a speed round, 20 questions.
Okay.
Funny, let's just see what you think. Okay,
Let's mix this up. Okay, you guys ready? 20 questions. A little breather. Everybody, you can
20 funny questions?
Shoulder it out.
20 funny questions, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I think they can answer too then, right?
In your own heads.
In your own heads. In your own heads.
We have the mics. You guys just stay quiet.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Invite. We're going to have fun. Okay, let's do this.
All right, number 1, chips or popcorn?
Chips.
Popcorn. Oh. That was tough.
Favorite video game character?
Zelda. No, Link. Sorry, my bad.
I think I go to Mario. I'm sorry, I'm basic.
Okay. Last song that you listened to?
I don't listen to music. This is so hard. I have no idea. Nightmare Before Christmas. This Is Halloween.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, that was the last song I listened to.
Lift Your Head, Weary Sinner by Crowder.
Oh, okay. You're holier than I am. All right,
it was
next.
on shuffle. It was on shuffle.
Best fast food burger?
Five Guys.
There's one right answer. It's not Five Guys.
What? Okay.
Best fast food burger?
Yeah, it's Five Guys.
Smack Shack.
Go Five Guys. Wait, what'd you say?
Snack Shack.
Snack Shack. Snack. Okay,
Snack Shack.
Okay, I have not that. Okay.
This is fast.
We need to
speed
make this happen. Sorry, let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
That was the. I don't know
worst
that.
food you've ever eaten?
What was that?
Worst food you've ever eaten?
Snack Shack. No, I'm just kidding.
A pink egg.
A pink egg?
Long story.
Okay.
I don't know, seafood? I don't know. I just don't
Favorite
like
day
it.
of the week?
Favorite day of the week?
Friday.
Tuesday?
Would you rather
Tuesdays.
explore the ocean or explore the moon?
Moon. Done.
Ocean.
What's your favorite bird?
Favorite bird?
Bald
Chickens-
eagle?
Chickens taste good.
Oh, I like that answer better. I want chickens. I'm stealing that
Would
one.
you rather become a lizard or a dog for a day?
Lizard.
Dog.
Dog.
First concert you went to?
Weird Al Yankovic.
What? I don't remember.
Yep.
I'll be honest.
Okay. Worst major holiday?
The worst one?
Worst major holiday?
Yeah.
Easter.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I was going to say Christmas.
Oh, okay, that's bad. That's bad.
I love my job.
Yeah, I
Sticking
don't know.
with Christmas?
Well, okay.
Flag Day.
Christmas Day is great. All the other ones. I'm a Grinch. I really am.
I'm a Grinch.
All the other 23 days leading up to it.
Would you rather be licked by a rat or bit by a dolphin? Weird.
Dolphin?
Probably bit by although I've had a dolphin whack me with their tail. Those things are strong. It is crazy
I just
how
feel
strong
like
a
here
dolphin
you
is.
get better stories. Someone's like, I got licked by a rat. So, you get quarantine.
And then I got rabies. I would get
bit by a dolphin? That's the coolest story ever.
Bit by a dolphin. Yes, I'm
Forever.
agreeing.
What's the fastest speed you've ever driven in a car?
Ooh. The speed limit.
That's not true. I've been in your car. I feel like it was probably an 85.
Definitely triple digits.
Oh, I have
leave it
not
there.
gotten there. Not gotten there.
right.
Was that in the bus?
That bus don't go
The bus
triple
can't get
digits.
that fast,
I'll tell you
no.
that right now.
I can't get that fast.
What would be your DJ name? Or what is your DJ name?
NP Streck. Let's go.
Wait, what?
NP. Those are my initials. And Streck. I don't know. It just
DJ,
flows.
get off the stage. I'm so bad at music. I'm so bad at music.
Or Snack Man. I don't know.
What is the face that you make when you're annoyed?
I don't know.
Talking.
Although you can't see it because of the mask usually.
Abby, what is the face I make? She's just, this one right here?
When the eyes
Yeah,
just
this is
glaze
it, this
over
is
and
it,
it's...
yeah. This one.
Talk in your lowest pitched voice.
Hello. This is my lowest pitch voice. This is the low voice. This is the lower voice.
What's your favorite smell?
Favorite smell?
Ooh, campfire or bacon?
There's a lot. I'm going to go of petrichor, which is the smell of freshly fallen rain.
Wow, learn something new every
My
day.
head hurts. I believe in the petricorn is the whatever like that.
I used to smell a petrichor. It's beautiful, yes.
How many fashion trendy people are you friends with?
Oh, friends with. Oh, I was about to say 0 because I'm not fashion trendy, but I know fashion trendy people. So.
Just about everyone that I know is more fashion than I
Is
do.
it more fashionable than me?
So-
Then it, yeah, I agree. Everyone. Yeah.
I'll put it as most.
Most.
Most?
20? I don't know.
Okay, 2 more. Marshmallows. Uncooked, browned, or burned?
Browned.
Browned.
Burned.
Browned.
No, not
you burned people are out of your minds. Burned? Gross.
Brown.
All right, last one. What is the lamest dessert that people try to pass off as a dessert?
Fruit. Fruit.
Do you remember we would watch Little House on the Prairie, and they would get oranges in their Christmas stockings. They'd be so excited. And I'm like, I'm so sorry
Okay.
that you lived in a dirt house. you
When
know?
I first got married, that's what Abby put in my stocking, and I was like, who
Yikes.
are you? You
Yikes.
put fruit in my This was a weird family tradition of theirs that I didn't get, but I get it now, but it was weird. I got fruit in my stocking. I was Little House on the
I
Prairie.
guess fruitcake is kind of gross, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. All right, that was it. 20 questions.
Thank you for doing 20 questions with us. All right.
Speed round. We did it. Impressive.
Speed round.
Speedish
Oh, my
round.
goodness.
Speedish. Yeah, we did slow down
It
a
was
little bit.
speed.
I don't know. We just had our own fun up here. I hope you had fun with us. That was kind of ridiculous. I hope you guys. Hey, reminder: you can text in your questions when you're sick of that. Okay.
Yeah, send in more questions. Yeah.
All right.
All right. As Christians, what should we believe / think about horoscopes?
Ooh, horoscopes. That's the stars one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm a Libra.
I'm an Aquarius.
Libra? Okay.
A what? A
Say
Libra?
it right. Libra. I think there's a verse about this, right? There's a verse on this one about horoscopes or about the stars.
Kind of. In the Old Testament.
In the Old Testament, yeah. I think it's one of those things where if you're just doing it because you think it's funny, like you do with fortune cookies, sure, go for it. If it's how you're controlling your life, that's a problem. Because there should only be one thing or one person who is controlling your life, and that's God. So if you're turning to the horoscopes online or however you're getting them in the newspaper, no one has newspapers. However you're getting your horoscope predictions, that is letting someone else control your life. Because let's be honest, it's not the stars. It's someone else making it up. And so that's where the problem is. But if you're like, oh, I'm a Libra, that's fun, I guess. But if it's like, oh, I'm a Libra, so I can only date these people and I have to eat this food today, otherwise this is gonna happen, that's where the issue comes in.
I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Libra. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, the one little thing I'd add to that is just to go even a little bit bigger on this. When it comes to horoscopes, the whole idea of a horoscope is that the universe is trying to communicate something to you, right? That because of how the stars are aligned and because of how the astrologists are looking at, the universe doesn't care about you. That's kind of it's not some weird force out in outer space trying to help direct your life. That's not a real thing. And that's why, as a Christian, I don't look to the stars for purpose. I look to a God who created all of that. I look to a God who loves me for purpose. And so, like Nathan said, when you look at horoscopes and stuff, it's great to do that as just kind of a joke, whatever, whatever. But when you start letting that actually into you, you're not listening to a voice of love. You're listening to a voice of something that doesn't care about you.
And to be honest, we've got a shortcut, right? If you're trying to say, all right, what do I want God? What does God tell me to do in my life? Let me look at the stars He made. We can skip that. We can just go straight to Him, just ask Him. It's like asking your friend, hey, do you want to eat? I'm going to look at the footprint you made in the dirt. He wants Chipotle with extra guac. No, you can just ask Him, just what do you want? And then they'll tell you Chipotle with no guac, and you're like, okay, all right. Not what your footprint said. So yeah, just go straight to the source. Don't waste your time.
That was good. That was good. Quit looking at footprints.
Yeah, quit looking at footprints.
You Libras.
Okay, this is a texted in question.
Okay.
Why do people think Jesus is white even though he's from the Middle East?
Preach!
I know the answer to that one, actually.
I'm glad you're up here then.
Okay, to be fair, my friend showed it to me on a TikTok video, so it might not be true. I'm gonna back.
If it was on TikTok, you know it's true.
Yes, that's right. But it connects to something that's definitely true. So it's because in the Middle Ages, everyone was really into painting, and they wanted to have their coolest paintings. And they had all their paintings look like the people who were around them, and they wore clothes that they were wearing at the time. Just like how if I were to make a painting right now about Jesus, he would have been wearing a T-shirt. That was kind of like what they were doing. They were wearing clothes that would have been appropriate. Now we see that, and it looks old because Middle Ages clothes are old, so it doesn't connect with us. But at the time, like Leonardo da Vinci and other people, they painted Jesus as white because that's who their models were. They were all white people. And then after that, those paintings got so famous that that's just how people pictured it in their head, and it just continued on and on. And I think for most people, this is, kind of dives into a little bit of some bigger issues, but we are more familiar, more comfortable with people that look like us. That's just in general. And so people usually picture Jesus to look like themselves. And this happens with all different ethnicities. People, make Jesuses that look like themselves. And in one degree, that's okay if that's how you picture him, but it is definitely not okay to say, this is who Jesus really looked like, because he wasn't white. As he said, he was in the Middle East, had dark skin, dark hair. There's Bible verses that kind of allude to that too in Revelation. So I think, it came back from a historical thing, and then people just kind of kept doing it, maybe maliciously, maybe just because they were lazy, maybe because they didn't know better, and they're like, oh yeah, this is, all the people I know look like this, so that makes sense that Jesus looked like that, because they, we're in the Middle Ages, and you only know, your neighbors and your cow, so you didn't really know many people. So that's, from what I understand, why that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're looking for a more accurate picture of what Jesus looks like, look to people who are Middle Eastern, more olive, colored skin, probably shorter, curlier hair. that's probably more in the direction of what he looked like. So if you're looking for a accurate picture of Jesus, that.
All right, thank you. How can I introduce my friend to Christianity while still respecting their choices and without seeming pushy?
A really good question. Well, I started this last one, so you can start this one, Brian.
I'll start this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a good question. I mean, and this is, I think, whether you're a Christian or not, you should share what you believe. Like, I think that that's important just in general. When I hear this question, to me, I mean, maybe it's wrong for me to project myself onto other people, and I'm sure it is, but I am curious about what other people believe. Like, I just am. And I just assume people are going to be curious about what I believe, too. And I'm not going to share it in a way where, hey, you have to believe what I believe, and you have to do what I do. Like if somebody came to me and did that, I'd be like, dude, back off, get out of my face.
Right, especially if you don't know them. You're
Yeah.
like, who are you, right?
Yeah, but I personally want to always have the posture of an openness towards hearing what people believe, so I can just connect with them on a human level. And so I would encourage you, if you are a follower of Jesus, like, go into conversations with that assumption that people actually are curious about you. Like, that's just not, that's never happened before. I think if you go into it with, that posture, the attitude of curiosity about them and just being real and honest about yourself, I think that more people than not are going to be open to that conversation.
Yeah, I think ultimately there's lots of different ways we can share our faith with other people. People do it differently, and so for you, it might look different than how it would for me or for Brian or for people on the street corner. There's different ways, and it works differently with different people. Like Brian said, if someone just came up to me randomly and was like, hey, I want to tell you about my religion, I would say, oh, that's really interesting, because I'm nerdy and I like religions, and I'd be like, tell me, like, I really want, like, a Mormon or a Jehovah's Witness, I forget which one it is, like, knock on my door and be like, do you have time? I'm like, come on in. I'd be the creepy one. They're like, I'm sorry, what? There's COVID. I'm like, get in here. Come on, let's go. But that wouldn't work for everyone. A lot of people would find that weird. So I think for you, it's figuring out what is natural and comfortable for you. And I think, as Brian said, a really easy way to do that is in relationships you already have, with friendships. And with any friendship, you want to get to know each other better. And so I would encourage you to start by asking them questions. Ask them, what do they believe? What do they think about God? And, because then they feel like, oh, they actually care about me. They don't just want to share what they want to, their religion on me just to be mean. They actually want to get to know me. So ask them this question. Actually listen. Don't just sit there and wait for them to be done. Actually listen to what they believe. You might find out you agree on some things, and you could use that as a starting point. They say, I believe that there's some kind of spiritual thing, but I don't really know who it is. And you go, well, I believe in that too, but I have a name for that one. His name is God, is Jesus. Or you could find out that they have a different religion, and there's some similarities between your two religions. Like Muslims and Christians both believe that Jesus existed and that he's someone that you should be listened to. We just believe that he was also God himself. So there's some differences, but also some similarities. So ask them questions, get to know them first, and then if they're a good conversationalist, they'll ask you, what do you believe? Or, like I said, you can build off of their answer to share. And I think the most important thing is to just not ignore those questions when they come up. Like when someone asks you, what do you do on Sunday night or Sunday morning? Or where were you? We had this party, but you weren't there on Sunday night. You're like, oh, well, I was at this. You could just say, oh, I was busy, I was at this other thing. Or you could use it as an opportunity to say, well, I was actually at church at my youth group. We had a lot of fun. We had this Q&A. You should come sometime, right? An easy way to build off of the questions your friends are going to ask you just because they're your friends. They want to get to know about you.
Yeah, and on that too, I mean, the last thing I'd say just on that is that, for me, when it comes to sharing my faith, it is sharing something that I love. And I want people to love what I love. Like, I enjoy certain foods, I enjoy certain shows, and I enjoy following Jesus. And I'd love for people to experience that with me. So personally, that's just where I'm at. And so I would love the opportunity to be able to share that with people, and I would love for you to explore that as well.
Yeah, I think if you have that excitement and passion behind it, what you're sharing, if they're your friend, if there's someone who cares about you, they'll see that's something you're passionate about. And even if they don't want to follow that religion, they'll be like, okay, this is something that's important to you, I'm going to listen. Or if I went up to you and started telling you about my favorite movie that you've never seen, and you're my friend, you're like, well, okay, this is important to him, I'm going to listen to it. Maybe I'll check out the movie later if he really likes it. Yeah.
All I want to be in a career path that glorifies God, but I don't think I want to be a pastor or physically work in a church. Are there some other options that glorify God?
Yes. Lots of them. Almost every job could do that.
Can I?
Yes.
I'm gonna make a bold statement, and I believe it 100%.
Go for it.
I believe that the best ministry that anyone will do is outside of the church, the building of the church. I mean, period. I mean, if you're looking for a career, if you're looking for a job that glorifies God, it's going to be far less about what job you choose and far more about how you do that job. When you go into any job, and rather than saying, man, I don't like this job, okay, well then how do you like it? How do you learn to love what you do? What is your attitude? How do you go into that? How can you share joy? How can you be a loving person? When you think about a career path that honors God, take your pick and do it all to the glory of God. It would be my kind of short answer to that. I think the church is a really great way that if you're passionate about ministry, like in the way that the church does ministry, then yeah, that's great, and you can glorify God in this. But if you're looking to do ministry, I think the best ministry happens outside of what we're experiencing right here.
Yeah, I would agree. I have a good friend of mine. Some of your leaders might know him. His name is Peter, and he went to school to do ministry. He thought he was going to work at a church, but never ended up happening. He was working at Target and just continued to work at Target, and that was his job. And we were roommates for a while, and he would tell me that he was able to do more ministry at his work at Target than he was able to do at the church because he was meeting people that didn't know Jesus, his coworkers, the customers. Now, it's not like he was giving sermons to them all the time, but when his coworkers would have rough things happen to them in their life, they knew that they could go to him. He would listen, and he would care about them, and he was able to show them what a Christian was like, what Jesus was like, through the way that he treated them, through the way he treated customers. And so that's not something we get to do when you work in the church, because a lot of the times the people in the church already know Jesus. Not everyone, and absolutely, if you're here and you don't know Jesus, you are more than welcome. This is absolutely the place for you. But you're able to meet a lot more people when you're doing these other jobs. Now, if you want to do something that's specifically ministry related, there's tons of nonprofit organizations, like Feed My Starving Children, or tons of other ones. I have a friend who's like starting his own. The thing he wanted to do, no one was doing, and so he started a nonprofit. So that's a lot of work, but it's absolutely something you can do. You can go be a missionary. You're definitely not working in a church when you do that. You are everywhere but inside a church building. So if you like to travel the world or share the word of Jesus with people who've never, ever even heard that name before, there are people on this planet that have never heard of Jesus and are hungry to hear about him. So that's another job you could do. There's lots of ministry jobs that don't involve working in the church. But like Brian and I said, any job can be for God as long as that's why you're doing it.
Hey, I think we have time for maybe like one or two more questions, okay? You guys feeling good? Do one or two more? Yeah?
Already?
Or like, dude, wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, one more, one, two more, one, two more.
Curtis says 5.
We'll take our pick. 1, 2, 5, between 5 and 2. Okay, I'm getting 5s, I'm getting 2s, I'm gonna get a 2, I'm gonna get a 2, 5. No, okay, I couldn't
some
do
weird
that.
gang signals.
I don't know what's happening here. Okay, we'll do one or two more, and then we'll wrap this thing up.
All right, why doesn't God just get rid of Satan?
Oh, that's a great question. We've actually I was talking about this at the youth group that, I still work there right now, my old one. We were talking all about spiritual warfare and about Satan. And it's really interesting that we think about Satan as this like presence that's all around. But one thing I know about Satan is that he is a big old stinky loser. Just the biggest loser there ever was. At the beginning of time, Satan tried to beat God and he lost. Big time. Got kicked out of heaven. No good. Then Satan was like, okay, I got this thing called death, all right? And he tempted Adam and Eve and caused sin to enter this world, and now people are dying. And he's like, I'm the king of death. And then Jesus dies, and Satan's like, woo, I'm the best. And then Jesus beats death, and so now Satan doesn't even have that, so he's a loser again. And we also see in the Bible, in Revelation, that Satan is going to lose one final time. He's going to wrangle his whole army together, and it's going to be stupid. It's going to be worthless. God's going to beat him and throw him into the pit of fire forever and ever. So when we think about Satan, why isn't God getting rid of him? He already has lost. Satan has already lost, and he's just basically trying to scrap together any final wins that he can by trying to take people down with him. And so when we read our Bible, we see that God is already in the process of getting rid of Satan that we're going to see at the end of time. So, yeah, it doesn't quite answer your question. Why doesn't he just get rid of him right now? I think the reason God hasn't gotten rid of Satan right now is because when he gets rid of Satan, he's going to get rid of everybody else that is associated with him too. And God wants to save as many people as possible. So that's why it's so important that we go and tell people about Jesus, that we show this love to Jesus, that we have these dangerous prayers. It's that way more people can come to be a part of God's family, be a part of God's kingdom. And so when Satan does have to go and Satan takes away the people that have followed him, that's as small a number as possible.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm assuming something in this question too, but I'm guessing that whoever was that asked this question, that there's kind of a question behind the question of like, well, how do we get rid of evil? How do we get rid of pain? How do we get rid of hurt? Well, you get rid of Satan, right? Because you get rid of the devil. If you get rid of the source, then the pain is gone. And that isn't necessarily true. We've all experienced pain. We've all experienced loss. We've all experienced hurt. And, which begs the question, well, then why doesn't God just, like, snap his fingers and get rid of evil, right? And if he did, he'd have to get rid of me. You know what I mean? Like that's in us. Because God gives us a choice, and he gives other people a choice. And so other people have the choice to do something that would hurt you. And I have the choice that would do something to hurt others, and the choice to do things that hurt me, right? And if God were to just take that choice away, well, now I can no longer love, because love has to be a choice. And so the question is bigger than even just why doesn't God get rid of evil or get rid of Satan? Because then God would have to get rid of choice, right? Which is why I love how the story ends, right? That God will eventually get rid of Satan and evil and sorrow and pain and fear. Like those things will eventually go away one day, which is, as a follower of Jesus, that's where a lot of my hope lies in, because this world has a lot of hurt and pain. But when I can look ahead and go, my life, my story doesn't end at my pain, that gives me hope. So I hope that's helpful for you as well, that if you ask that question, like, why doesn't God just get rid of it? Like, God has purpose in your pain, but look to him to find that purpose.
All right, last question. Somebody that has never read the Bible, where would you recommend they start? Is there a book or chapter or topic?
Not the beginning. I'm going to tell you much right now.
It is like the one book on the planet that you should never start at the beginning. Yeah. If you've never read it.
It's got a good first couple chapters. You're like, wow, this is great. I'm loving this. And then it gets to the names. And then you're like, oh, I personally, again, I'm a nerd. I love that part. But for most people, not fun. And then you get to the second book. It's, again, good start, Exodus. And then it gets really dry for the next 3 books.
Really dry.
So don't start in the beginning. Personally, I would recommend starting in the book of John. I think that's a good one. If you want to hear about Jesus, that's a great place to start. If you want just some good old life advice, the book of James. It's a good short one. You could probably read that real quick. Yeah, I would say John. That's my pick.
Yeah, I think that's right on. The Bible is split up into 2 sections. The first section is called the Old Testament. The second section is the New Testament. And John is in the New Testament, which is where Jesus is. And I think one of the best places to start is to hear about Jesus, the story of his life, what he did, what he said, what he taught. Because that is the place where, as a follower of Jesus, where I believe I get the information that helps me believe that Jesus actually is God, right? And the information is there to help explain my experiences with God. And so, I would say I think John is a great place. If you've been following Jesus for a while, if you've like heard a bunch of sermons and you like know the Jesus thing down pretty, like you did the Sunday school thing, I'd say, go to James, because that's going to be really challenging and really practical, things that you can walk away with that are very, very application-based. So, I think, those 2 are great. John and James. And don't be confused, because there's also 3 books in the Bible that are called 1 John, 2 John, 3 John.
Those are also good.
They're also good, but don't start there. They've got a 1 in front of the name John, or a 2 or a 3. Don't. If they has a number in front of the name John, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, wrong one.
Thanks, Brian.
Cool.
Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah,
Good stuff,
questions.
That was good. Hey, thank you guys for all of your questions. That was awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed our Q&A night tonight. Let's give it up for our guest and future youth director, Nathan Strecker. And let's give it up for Hallie for asking all of our great questions. I'll tell you what, it is no small task to weed through all of the questions that get asked. So seriously, Hallie, you rocked it. That was amazing. Hey, I would love to, Nathan, if you would, close us up in prayer, and then we're going to close by kind of doing one of our traditions here with the step. You want to close us in prayer first?
Absolutely. Let's pray. Dear Lord, I want to thank you so much for this night, for everyone who was able to be here in person or online. Let's pray that you continue to help us ask questions throughout our lives, in small groups, every day, that we continue to ask questions so we can get to know you more. Just fill us with a hunger to get to know you, to understand you more, and help us to grow in a deeper relationship with you. I pray for everyone here that you fill us with your love, fill us with your peace, help us to have great discussions in our small groups, and just help us to move forward in boldness and to continue to pray dangerous prayers, big prayers, knowing that you will answer. And everyone said, amen.
Amen. Amen. Hey, specifically for you who are connecting online, but for also everybody who's here, maybe if you're new, after this large group time, we split into what we call our growth groups. And really what it is a chance to kind of just take what you heard here and go a little bit deeper. Make it a little bit more personal in a smaller group of people. And so if you are connecting with us online, you can connect to a growth group. The Zoom, you can do that over Zoom. The Zoom ID, it should be right down below. We'd love for you to connect over Zoom. For the rest of us, we're going to go to our growth groups right after this, but let's stand and we're going to take our step. How this works is we stand together, we read some things on the screen up here, we count down 3, 2, 1, and take a big step forward, hence why we call it our step. So let's say these words together. You guys ready? Each week, we take a step to signify our continuing walk with Jesus Christ. 3, 2, 1, step. Hey, thank you guys for joining us for Q&A night. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you again for joining us here at Redeemer Youth for our special Q&A night. Tonight, I just want to leave you with one final question, and that is, what other questions might you have? What other questions do you have about God, the Bible, faith, life? What questions do you have about spirituality? You see, we absolutely believe to the core of our being that no matter where you are at, whether you believe in God or not, that you should never stop asking questions about faith and spirituality. And so, we want to encourage you to keep asking your questions. And with whatever questions you do have, who are you going to ask to help you answer those questions? Again, thank you for joining us here at Redeemer Youth. We now want to encourage you to go and take your next step in your faith journey.